Hi, welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight will be the first part in a multi-part series. The case, Lyle and Erik Menendez, also known as the Menendez Brothers. You know the names, but do you know the full story? Well, let's find out. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Joseph Lyle Menendez was born January 10th, 1968. Erik Galen Menendez was born November 27th, 1970. Their parents were Jose and Kitty Menendez. They met at Southern Illinois campus when she was a senior and he was a freshman. To both of their families completely disapproving of their relationship, Jose and Kitty, they eloped and were secretly married in 1963. They went on to have their two sons, Lyle and Erik, and together the family lived in Princeton, New Jersey. Jose dedicated himself to raising great sons who would carry out his plans for the future and continue his legacy. When Erik and Lyle were young, Jose was very strict. He had rules for everything: what the brothers could eat, who they could spend their time with, what they read, and even what they thought about. These pressures of meeting Jose's demands became physically affecting the brothers. Both Lyle and Erik developed stutters, had severe stomach pains, and even had a habit of grinding their teeth. Erik grew up completely worshiping his brother Lyle. Erik often told his friends how much he admired his brother. Lyle and Erik were extremely close, but their personalities, they couldn't have been more different. Lyle was described as aloof and witty, while Erik was described as sensitive and quiet. In 1982, when Erik and Lyle were about 12 and 15 years old, their cousin Diane stayed with the Menendez family for the summer. On 2 occasions, the brothers sexually assaulted her. Once, without warning, they began to undress Diane and tied her up. Diane started to scream, and then the brothers stopped. Nothing came of the incident. Another time, Diane and Lyle were watching television. Without warning, he climbed on top of her and began to fondle her breasts. The attack stopped as soon as she was able to set herself free. Nothing came of this incident either. Both brothers went on to attend Princeton Day School for grade school. In 1987, the family moved to California for Jose's work. Jose was great in turning struggling companies into successful companies and had become very wealthy doing so. Very wealthy. Erik attended high school in Calabasas, California. Lyle, he wanted to skip college altogether. He wanted to open a restaurant, with his father providing the financial backing. Jose, he took no part in this. He demanded an Ivy League education for both of his sons. So Lyle applied to Princeton in 1986, but he was rejected. He enrolled at a local community college and submitted another application to Princeton for the 1987 school year. While Lyle waited to hear from Princeton, he met and began to date a girl named Jamie Pisaric. She was a tennis player and a waitress. They eventually got engaged. Lyle was then accepted to Princeton in 1987. Part of the final admission to Princeton is contingent on each admitted freshman to sign a letter promising to obey the school's honor code. Well, what is their honor code? The honor code has been in place at Princeton since 1893. Well, in Lyle's first semester at Princeton, he completely broke the honor code. He was accused of plagiarism, specifically copying his lab partner's homework and then turning the assignment in as his own work. There was a hearing, and the disciplinary committee deliberated and found Lyle guilty of plagiarism, so he was suspended for 1 year. Well, Jose was pissed. So during the year Lyle was out of school, Jose made sure that Lyle was kept busy. And to do so, Jose put Lyle to work at his own company. Well, Lyle was not remembered too fondly by his coworkers. He often showed up late, was unapologetic, ignored work orders, didn't really pay attention. He skipped work a lot entirely, especially on warm days when he just wanted to go play tennis. So Lyle was eventually fired. He was fired by his own father, Jose. In February 1989, Jamie introduced Lyle to someone named Donovan Goodrow. Well, they became best friends. Donovan came to Princeton after spending 2 years at a junior college in Northern California. Meanwhile, Erik, his best friend was somebody named Craig Signorelli. Craig and Erik spent a ton of time together and even wrote a screenplay together called Friends. It was a 62-page thriller. It was about the son of a wealthy family member who reads his parents' will and learns upon their deaths he would inherit $157 million. The son eventually murders everyone to get his hands on his parents' money before being killed. Just food for thought. Keep that in mind. In July 1988, Erik and Lyle decide to break into homes in Calabasas. The brothers began to burglarize the homes owned by their parents' friends and were surprised by the large amounts of cash and jewelry that they were able to steal. The amount of money and jewelry that Lyle and Erik stole was estimated to be more than $100,000. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Detective, who was investigating the burglaries, received a huge break in the case. Erik was stopped on a simple driving violation in Calabasas. The police found some of the stolen property in the trunk of his car. Well, Jose stepped right in. He did not want his sons to spend any time in jail, so he hired a well-respected criminal defense attorney to represent them. They were able to work out an agreement with the district attorney's office that would absolve Lyle of any participation in the burglaries if Erik took responsibilities for all of the crimes. But why? Well, Erik was a juvenile and had no previous record. So Erik would only receive community service, work with the homeless, and then the brothers, all they had to do was attend psychological counseling. So they got the deal of a lifetime. Well, Lyle started to date somebody named Christy. In summer 1989, Christy told Lyle she was pregnant. According to Lyle, Jose intimidated Christy into having an abortion. Kitty also later told one of her friends that Jose paid Christy $100,000 to have the abortion. Jose and Kitty told Lyle that he has to break up with her. So he did. Guess love does come with a cost. Lyle began his spring semester now back at Princeton, but he was doing absolutely terrible and was placed on academic probation. Shortly after Lyle came back home, Jose and Kitty were notified by Princeton that they were taking disciplinary probation against Lyle. Lyle decided to throw a party and completely damaged the residence hall, including several pool tables. Jose decided he needed to do something for his son and purchased a condominium outside of Princeton so Lyle would put more effort into his school, because that will do the trick. The condo was a 2-bedroom condo and it would be perfect for when Jose and Kitty would go visit. Lyle was still causing trouble and caused the family's privileges at the country club in Princeton to be suspended. What Lyle did was him and Donovan took a golf cart at night and drove all around the greens, causing a large amount of damage. Jose made full restitution to the country club, but the damage was done, literally and figuratively. Meanwhile, Erik was accepted at UC Berkeley, but instead chose to attend UCLA because it had a better tennis team. Jose and Kitty did not like this. They threatened to rewrite their wills to leave both brothers out completely. They were at their wits' end. Well, as the summer came to an end, tensions in the Menendez household were completely escalated. Kitty began to lock her door to her bedroom at night, and she kept 2 rifles in her closet. On July 19, 1989, Kitty went to her therapist and told him she feared both of her sons were sociopaths. Kitty's therapist made notes of this session and indicated Kitty was extremely concerned that her sons were, quote, narcissistic, lacked consciousness, and exhibited signs that they were sociopaths, end quote. And that ends part 1 of Lyle and Erik Menendez, the Menendez Brothers. Stay tuned for next week's episode, part 2 of the Menendez Brothers, where we dive in to the murders. So stay tuned. Thank you for sticking for this episode of Danny After Dark. Go ahead and make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Any comments about this episode, leave it down below. Let's be interactive. Do you have a suggestion for a case that you would like me to cover? Well, leave it down below in the comments, and you may see it covered in a future episode. Until next time, remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us.